Hello art beaters, Becky here for artbeads.com and I've got a brand new video for you today. Today we're working with Vee Beads. These are 2-hole check glass beads that feature a fun chevron shape, and I'm going to show you how to make a beaded bracelet with these fun shapes. So let's get started. Okay, so these are the Vee Beads and this is the bracelet I made. They are chevron shaped 2-hole check glass beads. So you can see the holes there. The holes run vertical through this chevron or V shape. Good morning, Janet. Good to see you. So really fun shape. Obviously, they nest up really nicely together. You could even just do just a fun 2-strand bracelet like this. This would be fun on stretch cord, just to like repeat that pattern over and over. They lay really nicely together. But I wanted to do something a little weavy, something a little fun. So I incorporated chevron beads in layers and going in different directions. So that was really fun to do. I just used chevron or Vee beads in 3 different colors. We've got turquoise, the matte gold, and bronze. I also used 4mm fire polished beads between the Vee beads on the edges. And then I also used TOHO Seed Beads for some trim on the end where I attached my clasp. So really, really fun. Love that. So let's get started. So to do that, to do this pattern, you'll need your Vee beads in the colors you want. I think I'm going to mix it up for today. I think I'm going to just use the matte gold and bronze colors just to see how that looks, because the fire polished beads I have here today, they're a little bit golder than the ones I have here, and I have some gold seed beads. So I think it'd be fun to just do like a monochromatic look for today's demo. So I've got my Vee beads that I'm going to use, my fire polished beads, and my TOHO Round Seed Beads. You'll also need a beading needle. I've got a size 12 needle here, and you're going to need some thread. I recommend using Fireline just because it has less stretch to it than like a TOHO 1G or a Miyuki thread. You don't want a whole lot of stretch here. So let's get started. I'm going to cut about 3 feet of the thread. Hello, Jeanette. Good to see you. Yeah, so good to see your comments, everyone. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We're going to be making a 2-hole Vee bead bracelet. It's going to be so fun. And you can find the instructions for this on our website at artbeads.com. I've got it linked in the video description. I also added links for the Vee beads, the new Vee beads, all of the colors, our 4mm fire polished, and our A-dot TOHO round seed beads. So you can shop those different colors if you want to try a different colorway for this pattern. Thread my needle there with the fire line. Okay, so to start this pattern, what I want to do is I think I want the matte gold, or no, I want the bronze beads on the outside. So I want all of these outer beads to be the bronze color, and then I'm going to use the matte gold color as that center V that is here in turquoise. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a Vee bead, that right hand stringing hole with the point facing up, and then I'm going to add a fire polished bead, and I'm just going to repeat that for the length that I need. And I think what I need, this bracelet I made to like a standard size 7, 7.5. My wrist is kind of small, so you can adjust based on whether your wrist is bigger or smaller than that. I'm going to take a few beads off. I think I need to repeat this pattern about 16 times. And I'm going to actually get a bead stopper, so my beads don't go flying off. So this is a bead stopper, and I'm going to put that on the end of my thread. You could also just add a stopper bead if you want, but I do love the convenience of the bead stoppers. All right. So let's repeat that until we have 16 of those Vee beads. Marisol, hello. I'm glad you like this design. Yeah, it was fun to come up with. Ah, my ring is getting caught on my thread. Maybe I can't wear a ring today. Take that off so it doesn't keep getting snagged. So for this initial row, you just want to be mindful that your V beads are all facing the same way. They're all pointing up. And that you put that fire polished bead in between each one. Hi, Landa. Good to see you. So we've got 4. Then we'll need 5. Yeah, I really like the shape of these V beads, and we have a lot of fun colors to choose from. So they've been really fun to work with. I think just like doing them on stretch cord, just alternating colors or something, just a really simple pattern would be a lot of fun too. Of course, I wanted to try something bead weavy, so that was a lot of fun. Get this going. All right, let's see, 6. Number 7 here shortly. There we go. It's just another fun check glass bead shape. I love working with the 2-hole check glass beads. They are so, so fun. Let's see how many we got here. 3, 6, 8. We're going on 9. And I might make a shortened version of this bracelet just for time's sake, so we can show you the full pattern quicker. And this could also work for a bracelet as well. So what you would do, if I were going to make my little beaded section just this long, what I would do is I would add jump rings, more jump rings to the ends of my bracelet to make like an extender chain. And then that way maybe your beaded part would just be on the front. So if you're worried about length, that's something you could do too. Just make a small beaded section that you know is going to be nice on your wrist, and then just add jump rings or an extender chain. Okay, so 3, 6, 9. We'll just do 10. Keep it even. So once your bracelet is the desired length, what you're going to do to start the next row, so this is your end bead on the one end of your bracelet. You're going to pick up 3 A-dot seed beads, and you're going to jump over to that second stringing hole on that last chevron bead. There we go. Okay, now you're in place to work back the way you came and add that middle chevron bead. So I'm going to use the matte gold V beads for this. I keep calling them chevron beads and V beads. They're known as chevron beads elsewhere, but they're also known as V beads. So whatever you'd like to call them. So I'm going to add, and you want to make sure that you're coming through the left stringing hole. Let me move this a little further down. You want to make sure you're coming through that left stringing hole, and that the V on this part, on this bead, is facing in the opposite direction of your first row. So we've got that in place, and then you just go through that second stringing hole of the next V bead in the previous row. And you just repeat that. So I've got my matte gold V bead. I'm going to come through that left-hand stringing hole with the V pointing in the direction that I need, the opposite way of the first row here. And then coming through that second stringing hole in that next V bead in the first row. There we go. So just do that all the way down the length of the bracelet. I like this monochrome look. I think that's really pretty. So we're going up through the second stringing hole, up through the left-hand stringing hole of the next matte gold, and then up through the second stringing hole of the V bead in the previous row. So it's really just an easy back and forth weaving that we're doing here. It's nothing crazy complicated, which is nice. So it goes by pretty fast. Add our next one. And I like to kind of lay it in place, make sure I've got it going good. And our thread is catching on all these things. There we go. Pull tight. It's looking good, looking good. And we'll add the next bead. Go through that second stringing hole of the next V bead in the previous row. Make sure the V is pointing up. Go through the left-hand stringing hole, or pointing in the opposite direction of your first row of V beads. Add another one in the same way. Go through that second stringing hole. And I do like doing this one with my piece laying down on the mat because it keeps my, I can rearrange and readjust my V beads based on how I want them to lay, because before you get them all woven into place, they can kind of flop around. So it's nice to have them laying on the work surface so you can make sure that they are doing what you want. All right. Do that last one. Okay, there we go. So what we need to do on this end, on the last end, we did 3 seed beads and jumped over to start the next row. We're going to have to backtrack a little for this one. So we're going to add 3 seed beads like we did before. And we're actually going to go back through the first stringing hole of that last bronze V bead and then loop around until we're coming back up where we want to be. So we're going to go back through that first stringing hole. And then you can jump stringing holes right here on this same V bead. I might recommend that, but you can also weave back in if you want a little more structure. So what you could do is go back through this fire polished bead and this second bronze V bead, and then make the jump. And make sure you're not getting all tangly. There we go. And then jump here to the second stringing hole and back up. But don't come back up through the seed beads that you added. You just want to be coming out of that V bead second hole. Okay, and then from here, so that's our tail over here. We want that out of the way. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to add 3 more TOHO seed beads. So I've got 3 on there. And we're going to start our outer row of V beads on this side. So if you kind of lay them in place, it kind of shows you how to naturally do those thread paths. Oh, hi, Holly. If you're just joining, I am making a V bead bracelet. These are 2-hole Czech glass V beads. They have a really great chevron shape. So I'm just showing you how to make a bracelet like this with those 2-hole V beads. And this will be available on YouTube and on replay. So you can come back if you missed anything, rewatch. It'll be there for you. All right, so we're going to come down through that first stringing hole. So now we've got our V beads pointing down again in the opposite direction of that center row. And then we're going to come through that second stringing hole of that matte gold V bead. My thread keeps getting caught on the corners of my beading tray, but that's okay. All right, there we go. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to add another V bead pointing down. And go through that second stringing hole of the next matte gold V bead that's already in place in that second row. So this pattern goes by pretty quick. It's pretty easy. And I like the opposite directions of these chevron beads. It's a lot of fun. So we're gonna go through that hole, make sure it's pointing down, make sure I'm not getting caught on the corner of my tray. There we go, and go through that second stringing hole of the next matte gold V bead. Make sure I'm pulling tight there. Oh, it's looking good. I like this monochromatic look. All right. V bead pointing down, opposite direction of that middle row. Go through that second stringing hole of the next V bead. Oh, I'm so glad you love this design. It's really fun, really easy too. And then we're going to go through the next V bead, pointing down. I keep catching that corner, my goodness. There we go. It's taken shape, taken shape. I really like those golden brass colors together. I like the pop-up turquoise in my original design too. I thought that was kind of fun. I think these V beads like going together in opposite directions, it almost gives it like a, not the herringbone stitch, but like a herringbone pattern that you see in fabric. Kind of reminds me of that. Ah. There we go. Go through that next matte gold seed bead. Remember, we're going through the second stringing hole of those center beads. Adding another. Oh, I'm so glad. Yeah, there's a lot of fun bead shapes out there, and it is helpful to see like how others are using them, because they're such unique shapes, so creative, that there's a lot of ways to use them. So one designer might think of a different way than you would. So it's so great to have designs like this out there that you can kind of reference if you're wanting to use those new shapes but not quite sure. All right, and then we need just one more on this end, and that'll be our last V bead for this row. All right, and what I would do here is I'm going to add 3 seed beads, those 8-aught round seed beads like I did, and I'm going to come back through this second hole on my first row, just to make it even, because that's what I did here, and then we'll loop back around. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to go through this matte gold V bead. Let's make sure our thread is, there we go. Sometimes you have to pull the tail to get that thread nice and tight. I'm going to jump over to the second stringing hole on this matte gold V bead and come up through that first hole on that V bead that I added in the last row, but I'm not going to go back through the seed beads again. So now I'm in place again where I want to be. So I'm going to add 3 more round seed beads and jump over to that second stringing hole. And you can probably guess what I'm going to do here. I'm going to add my fire polished beads between these V beads on this outer row so it matches those on the other end. So let's do that. So I'm adding a fire polished bead. And going through the next V bead in this last row. There we go. Adding another one. Add another fire polished bead. So this is a pretty quick pattern. I made my bracelet shorter for the sake of time so I could get through the whole pattern, but it's pretty quick even when you add the full amount of beads that you need for a full-length bracelet. Again, I'm going to add jump rings as an extender chain to this little sample that I made and then add my clasp, and you can adjust that for whatever size you need. So that's another idea for a pattern like this. And what I will probably do is I'll probably go back through this bead path and reinforce the bead path just to make sure that it's not wiggly, loosey-goosey, anything like that. So just going back through the bead path is a good idea for a pattern like this. I like these colors. Even like, I could have done like the turquoise in the center too, like I did on this original piece. In the original piece, I alternated the chevron bead colors on the outside and then did turquoise as the center. But I'm liking the two V bead color variation as well. All right, we're coming into the last fire polished bead we need to add. Yay! And then all we have to do here is add 3 seed beads and come through that first stringing hole. And then from here you could go back through the beading path and just reinforce. So I can do that here. Just go back through, make everything strong. Yeah. So even just reinforcing that little bit helps. And I would reinforce through the seed beads too, because that is your connection point for your clasp or jump rings. If you're making an extender chain, it's super important to make sure that those are strong as well. So just go back a few times and reinforce. Yay, and then you have this wonderful pattern. Look at that, so pretty. So what I'm going to do for this one, I'm just going to add jump rings to each end and attach a clasp, and you have a beautiful bracelet. Look at that. Isn't that pretty? I really like the monochromatic look. This you could wear with a lot of different things. And I just love how the V beads or the chevron shape alternates up and down. It really draws the eye. It's just really fun to look at. So super fun pattern, super easy to do. Goes by really quick. We did that in like less than 30 minutes. So that's really nice. It's always fun to have an intricate looking bead pattern that isn't hard to do. Love that. That's why I love a lot of the Starman Trendsetter patterns, because they're super intricate and dimensional, but pretty easy to accomplish. That's why I love sharing those. So this was definitely inspired by the Starman Trendsetter pattern. So yeah, you can use as many rows as you want with the fire polished beads on just the first and last rows. Yes, exactly. You could go on and on and on. You could make like a belt out of this. That would be kind of fun. So pretty. So really love those new V beads, 2-hole Czech glass V beads. We've got these new at artbeads.com. Again, lots of colors available, than more than what I have here. Lots of nice turquoises. We've got some fun like AB colors. There's all kinds of options to choose from if you want to make this pattern in your own colorways. And I do have links for all of that in the video description, so make sure to shop.
Thank you guys so much for joining me today. I hope that this video was inspiring and helpful. I can't wait to see how you use V beads in your designs. Please make sure to leave a like and a comment, and as always, make sure to subscribe to our channel so you're the first to know when videos like this are out. Thank you so much, and I will see you next time. Bye.